Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you are here with me today. Let's take a slow, deep breath together. Find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. This is a special time just for you. We are going to go on a small journey to calm your thoughts and to help you practice your English in a gentle way. There is no need to rush. Imagine your shoulders becoming soft and heavy. This story is a small gift for you. The words are simple and clear so you can follow along. Let the story wash over you like a warm, gentle wave. Are you ready? Our story is about to begin. The story begins on a Saturday morning. The sun was just beginning to wake up. Its light was soft and golden. Leo was still in his bed, warm under his soft blanket. A few birds were singing their first songs of the day outside his window. Leo opened his eyes slowly. He smiled a little. There was no alarm clock telling him to hurry. He stretched his arms and his legs, feeling his muscles wake up. The air in his room was cool and fresh. He took a deep breath, filling his lungs with the quiet morning air. After a few more minutes of quiet thought, Leo sat up. He walked to the window and pulled the curtain back a little more. Today was going to be a good day. He put on a comfortable sweater and laced up his walking shoes. He grabbed his small bag, took his keys, and closed the door behind him. The walk to the bookstore was pleasant, about 15 minutes from his apartment. It was Leo's favorite day, Saturday. The morning sun cast a warm, golden light, promising a day of quiet adventure. He stepped outside, breathing in the fresh air scented with dew-covered grass. He walked through familiar streets where the gentle sounds of the waking neighborhood created a peaceful soundtrack. This weekly pilgrimage was to a place that felt more like home than anywhere else. He turned the final corner. Finally, he saw it at the end of the street, a small shop with a dark green door. A wooden sign above the door read, "The Book Nook." He pushed open the heavy green door, a little bell chiming his arrival, and stepped inside. A wonderful smell greeted him, old paper, leather, and freshly brewed coffee. He took a deep breath, letting the familiar aroma wash over him. It was the scent of comfort, of countless stories waiting patiently on their shelves.
The owner, Mr. Henderson, looked up and smiled warmly. "Good morning, Leo," he said, his voice kind and familiar. "Looking for a new adventure today?"
Leo's eyes scanned the room, a happy sigh escaping him. Books were everywhere, a labyrinth of stories just for him. They were stacked neatly on shelves, arranged in tempting piles on tables, and even spilled onto the floor in colorful towers. Each corner held the potential for a new discovery. He ran his fingers lightly over the spines, loving the feel of so many stories waiting to be discovered. He moved to his favorite section, travel. Here were books about distant mountains, vast oceans, and bustling cities he dreamed of one day seeing for himself. His eyes scanned the shelves, passing over bright new covers and familiar titles. And then he saw it. Tucked away at the bottom, almost hidden from view, was a small, thin blue book. Its simple cloth cover stood out. On it was a delicate, hand-drawn sailboat. He opened it. The inscription said, "For my dearest Eleanor, may your journeys always be safe. With love, Thomas." The pages were yellowed with age. It was a handwritten travel journal, a personal account of a life lived. He read about a journey across the Atlantic on a small sailboat dated 1952. He sat on a small stool, the world of the bookstore fading away, and began to read the first entries. Thomas wrote about the salty wind on his face, the waves against the boat, and the brilliant canopy of stars at night. Leo felt transported. He carefully closed the journal, holding it to his chest. This was more than a book, it was a treasure. He knew he had to have this book. "For you, Leo, just a few dollars," Mr. Henderson said, his eyes twinkling behind his spectacles. Leo smiled, genuinely touched by the old shopkeeper's kindness. It wasn't just a transaction, it was a shared moment of appreciation for a story waiting to be discovered. It truly felt like the book had chosen him. As Leo tucked the journal under his arm, he felt a quiet excitement building inside. The bell above the door chimed softly as he stepped out, the sound lingering in the air like a gentle farewell. Outside, the afternoon sun wrapped Leo in a golden glow. He paused for a moment on the sidewalk, feeling the weight of the journal in his hands. The street was alive now. Children's laughter echoed from a nearby park, and the distant hum of a bicycle bell drifted by. Leo closed his eyes and took a slow breath, letting the warmth and sounds of the city settle around him. A book like that needs to be read, not sit on a shelf. Leo glanced down at the journal, running his fingers over the soft, worn cover. He imagined the many hands that had held it before him, the stories it had already lived. The blue fabric felt cool and familiar, as if it belonged to him all along. He closed the door, the little bell above it chiming a soft, melodic goodbye. He stepped out into the warm embrace of the afternoon sun. The street, quiet just an hour ago, was now alive with energy. The air was a delicious mix of sizzling street food and the sweet perfume of fresh flowers from a nearby stand. As Leo walked, he passed a flower vendor arranging bright bouquets. The colors, pinks, yellows, and deep reds, caught his eye, and he smiled at the simple beauty. A gentle breeze carried the scent of roses and fresh bread from a bakery down the block. He felt his steps slow, savoring the moment. The cafe he remembered, the daily grind, sat on the corner, its green awning fluttering gently. Through the window Leo could see people chatting quietly, the clink of cups and soft laughter creating a peaceful background. He felt drawn to the cozy scene inside. He clutched his bag, the journal safely inside, and decided he couldn't wait to start reading. He remembered the cafe he had passed earlier, the daily grind. It seemed like the perfect spot. Inside, the cafe was filled with the gentle hum of conversation and the soft hiss of the espresso machine. Leo found a quiet table by the window, sunlight spilling across the wooden surface. He set down his bag and placed the journal in front of him, feeling a sense of anticipation. He found a quiet table under a green umbrella and ordered a black coffee. The server approached with a gentle smile, setting down a steaming cup of coffee and a small plate with a golden croissant. The aroma of fresh coffee mingled with the sweet scent of pastry, making Leo's mouth water. He thanked the server softly, grateful for the simple kindness. While he waited for his coffee, he pulled out the journal. He ran his hand over the soft, worn blue cover, feeling the texture of the aged paper. The simple act felt like a ritual. Who were Thomas and Eleanor? What were their dreams, their fears, their greatest joys? The possibilities felt as vast and mysterious as the deep ocean depicted on the cover. Leo opened the journal to the first page, his heart beating a little faster. The handwriting was neat and careful, each letter telling its own story. He traced the inscription with his finger, imagining Thomas writing these words so many years ago. The ink had faded, but the feeling remained strong. He took a sip of coffee, letting the warmth fill him. Outside, people strolled by, some with shopping bags, others walking dogs or chatting with friends. The world felt both distant and close, as if time had slowed just for him. As he read, Leo imagined the journey described in the journal. He pictured Thomas and Eleanor, their hopes and dreams carried across the ocean. The words painted vivid images in his mind, stormy nights, starry skies, and the endless blue sea. His coffee arrived with steam, its rich aroma filling the air. A croissant, warm and flaky, was the perfect companion. He broke off a piece of the croissant, savoring the buttery taste. The cafe's gentle music played in the background, blending with the soft murmur of voices. Leo felt completely at ease, as if the world outside had faded away. He took a sip and opened the journal. He read about the first storm, the words painting a vivid picture of crashing waves and dark, threatening skies. Leo's imagination soared. He could almost hear the wind howling and the waves crashing against the small boat. He pictured Thomas gripping the wheel, determined and brave, while Eleanor's name was written in the margins, a quiet promise of home. He felt the spray of the sea on his face, small and vulnerable on the vast ocean with the storm raging around him. The cafe faded away for a moment, replaced by the sound of rain tapping gently on the window. Leo looked up, watching droplets race down the glass, and smiled at the thought of adventure found in quiet places. He was so lost in the story that he didn't notice the time passing. When he finally looked up, the sun had started to get lower, casting long shadows across the street. Leo stretched, feeling the gentle ache of sitting still for so long. He glanced around the cafe. Other customers were lost in their own worlds, reading, writing, or simply enjoying the afternoon. The barista wiped down the counter, humming softly to herself. Reluctantly, he closed the book. He paid, thanked the staff, and carefully put the journal back in his bag, eager to continue the journey. As he left, Leo gave a small wave to the barista, who smiled in return. The bell above the door chimed again, a gentle reminder of the world waiting outside. Leo stepped onto the street, feeling lighter, as if the story had given him new energy. The walk home was different. The city sounds faded, replaced by the world of the journal. He imagined the endless blue of the ocean and a night sky full of stars. The sky was painted with soft colors, pale pinks and golds, while the first stars began to appear. Leo walked slowly, replaying the story in his mind. Each step felt like a page turning, the city around him transformed by his imagination. He unlocked his door and stepped inside his peaceful apartment. The familiar quiet wrapped around him like a warm blanket. Leo set his bag down and looked around his small home. The soft light from the window made everything feel safe and calm. He took a deep breath, grateful for the comfort of his own space. He put his bag down, took off his shoes, and sank into his favorite chair with a contented sigh. The journal sat on the table, its blue cover glowing in the last light of day. Leo reached for it, feeling a sense of peace. He knew he would return to its pages again and again, each time discovering something new. The stripe of sunlight had moved across the floor, illuminating the small blue book on the table. His apartment felt like a sanctuary, a safe harbor from any storm. As evening arrived, a quiet calm settled over Leo's home, muffling the sounds of the world outside. He prepared a simple dinner of warm soup and crusty bread, the comforting aroma filling his small kitchen. Afterward, he settled into his favorite armchair by the window, the soft lamplight casting a golden glow as he opened the little blue book, its pages whispering with history. Outside, the sky deepened from gold to indigo. Leo watched the first stars appear, their gentle light twinkling through the window. He felt a sense of peace settle over him, as if the world was pausing for a moment of quiet reflection. He read about the vast, calm days at sea, almost feeling the gentle rock of the ship and imagining the endless blue horizon. He smiled at the descriptions of playful dolphins leaping from the waves and felt a surge of hope, a shared joy, as he read about the final moment when Thomas saw land. Leo paused, closing his eyes for a moment. He imagined the salty wind on his face, the sound of waves, and the excitement of a new shore appearing after a long journey. The story felt alive in his hands. The last entry was short, but it held the weight of a long voyage. It said, "My journey is over, but our greatest adventure is about to begin. I am coming home to you." Leo smiled softly, touched by the words. He thought about the journeys we all take, across oceans or simply through the pages of a book. Each adventure, big or small, leaves a mark on our hearts. Leo closed the book slowly, his fingers tracing the worn cover. A profound warmth spread through his chest, a feeling of connection to a life lived long ago. He gazed out the window, letting his thoughts wander. The city lights glimmered in the distance, but inside everything felt safe and still. Leo realized that stories connect us, across time and place. He realized adventures didn't have to involve crossing oceans. They could be found in the quiet corners of his own world. He decided to start his own journal, to capture his own small discoveries. With a pen in hand, Leo opened a fresh notebook. He began to write, his words flowing easily. He wrote about the blue book, the kindness of Mr. Henderson, and the peaceful feeling of the evening. Each sentence was a small step on his own journey. The little blue book had not only given him a story, it had given him a powerful inspiration. He thought about the people who had written and read before him, and those who would come after. Leo felt grateful for the chance to learn, to dream, and to share his own voice. Just like Leo, you can find stories all around you, hidden in the simple moments of your day. Your journey with English is similar, an adventure made of small, everyday steps. Don't worry about perfection, just be open and curious. Every word you learn is a new discovery. Remember, learning a language is not a race. It's a gentle walk, one step at a time. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Each new word, each new sentence is a victory. Find what you truly enjoy. It could be a story podcast during your commute, a simple movie before bed, or even music with English lyrics. When you enjoy the activity, practicing doesn't feel like work. The key is consistency. Leo's favorite way to practice was to write a few lines each night, reflecting on his day. You might find your own favorite way: reading, listening, speaking, or writing. What matters is that you keep going. Think of it as watering a plant. A little bit of water each day helps it grow strong and healthy. This small daily practice is far more effective than trying to study for many hours just once a week. Slow, steady progress builds a lasting skill. Even on days when you feel tired, remember that a few gentle minutes with English can make a difference. Be kind to yourself and trust the process. By listening every day, you build a strong foundation for your English fluency. Leo closed his journal, feeling proud of his small steps. He looked around his cozy home, grateful for the quiet and the chance to learn something new each day. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I hope Leo's story has inspired you. I wish you a peaceful day and a restful night. As you close your eyes tonight, remember that every story, every word, and every effort brings you closer to your dreams. Good night and keep going. Goodbye for now.